Hey, what's up, guys? It's MetaGamesGX here, and we are live right now on YouTube. We're going to be streaming every Monday around 7 p.m. EST, roughly 7, 8. So come and check it out. We do live deck profiles and ranked games, but today we are going to be doing the branded Despia deck profile, my updated first place deck profile that I've been taking to locals the last 2 weeks. It's the build I'd be taking to any regional that we'll be taking to an OTS later this month. I think this build is killer. I think it's really good against the whole meta. I think it's better than Chimera branded, frankly, because I don't lose to Droll with this build most of the time. But you guys will have to let me know on that. I think I've been having very much success with it, never going below X1 or so going it's undefeated several different times. So I'm looking forward to taking a similar build to the regional at the end of the month. So barring a ban list, obviously. We're playing Brand Despia, obviously. I believe we are on 46 cards. It might be 45 cards. I'm trying to keep it around 45 because the deck feels so much better when you're on 45. You see your cards, and you have to watch it with your ratios and monsters. I'm going to do a masterclass in Branded. We will go over like matchups, side patterns, like combos and all that. But today we're just going to do this deck profile. We'll show the one card Gimmick Puppet combo because you guys love that combo. It's getting kind of famous when I'm hearing Team Sakurasu like referencing that. Like I'm glad that I know other people have showed off this combo, but I feel like I've been the biggest proprietor of this combo on YouTube and in general. So we will get into the deck. And my choices and why I think this is the best build for branded right now. I think this deck is really good against Unchained, and Unchained is a really good matchup, and I have a really good kashtira matchup too because of my main decks. We will go over it now. 46 cards, 3 Aluber, the boy himself. We'll put him right here, and then 2 Albaz, which is a new change up to the deck. We no longer run 3 Albaz. I took this off the Chimera branded version, to be honest. I've been seeing a lot of builds only run 1 or 2. We can get away with 2. It really helps the deck not brick as much when you only run 2. It's great going second, and I've debated on siding a third, but it doesn't come up that often as long as you cycle Lubellion correctly, which you should be. So it's fine, and I really love this ratio right now. 2 Quem, and this is also slightly updated in terms of I'm getting more to figuring out my definitive ratios on these core Albaz monsters. So Cartesia Quem, we run 3 Duality, and Duality basically allows us to get around a lot of hand traps. We go because when you draw a hand of Cartesia plus Duality and like any into Branded Fusion, you're going to go into Dragoon first, and then also be able to plus off Duality, and then get rid of any Ash, any Droll. So that's why we don't run Called By in this deck. It's actually kind of a brick. You want to see the Duality instead, so you can just have the Dragoon have the board presence. It does more for your deck than Called By, which is kind of nice. I have been trying to side deck it, but we will go off that. I really like these ratios. They allow you to play through hand traps, play around Ash, because they aren't going to Ash any of these monsters. So like if you're doing these things, then into Branded Fusion with the Duality behind you with Thrust. I do kind of wish I main deck Dark Magician, but I just don't have the room for it, because it's nice to hard make the Dark Magician, but we will get into that as we go through the monsters. Now we're going to get into the non-Albaz monsters. We'll go the 2 Bystials, Bystial, Lubellion, and Saronir. I still think that they're very necessary. I mean, you can theoretically cut them, but this card's ridiculous. You need it in any sort of Cartesia build, because this plus Cartesia is like almost full combo basically, and that's how you can get to your Branded Fusion. It's just more lines to Branded Fusion. In Lubellion, it just sucks when you draw these 2 together. I was doing that a lot this week, unfortunately. However, Lubellion is also just a full combo card. It gets you to Lost and it helps you play through board. So I really like the card. They're also easy side outs, and they're just good against like random decks like TEARLAMENTS, Gimmick, Puppet. So the mirror obviously. 1 Maximus. This card goes with Nadir Servant because Nadir Servant is a 1-card combo in this deck where you just search this and send your whole extra deck to the graveyard and just +5 and Gimmick Lock, and then like and on Albion plus or Sanctifier plus Mirror Jade is pretty good, and that's why I think this deck might get hit, because I'm making too many videos on this, and like it's really good. Like it makes Nadir, it makes your deck just have so many one card combos, which is why I love this deck. Then the rest of the just like general like Albaz support cards, one really standard, like you don't really have to comment on these. Mercurier is great. It's the GOAT. We love Mercurier. You can also revive off a Sanctifier and use its on-field effect, remember. And then Gimmick Puppet, because I... So, Chris Lofton, I tweeted at him, I'm like, why don't you, like, Gimmick Puppet? And he's like, because I know how to play the deck, and, like, you know, fair, but, like, I think there's a lot of other people, like John Wilkin, who would agree that Gimmick Puppet is the best way to run this deck, including myself, so, you know, to each his own. However, I think that Gimmick Puppet just steals games, and it basically makes it's the most non-game card in the deck, and if you have a card that can just say, we're going to have a non-game and I'm going to win because in game 1 you do not have a Gimmick Puppet out, I'm going to run it. Like this card, like whenever I go first, when die roll, I win. So it's like I would like, it's very much, unless I brick, you know. So that's what this card says. You run it, in my opinion. You can side out with going second, but even then going second, you can have it for the crackback if you don't because a lot of time, like, Brandon's really good at breaking boards, but, like, sometimes you don't have the follow-up to, like, establish a board because you've used it to break the board because you have a lot of discarding in your deck, so that's why I don't love Super Poly, because I don't want to be discarding a lot. Spoiler alert, I'm not on Super Poly in this deck, so, so here are the hand traps, 3 Imperm, 3 Ash, so... These are just the best hand traps in the format right now. Droll's really good, obviously, but like it's kind of a bait, honestly. It's because not a lot of that. Because if you're going against Labyrinth or Unchained or just like Rescue Ace, you just lose with Droll. And these cards just hit everything and have a much more. And these are still like as much of a blowout against like Cash and like Branded and you know, Unchained and Lab and certain decks that or like Diomorphia and stuff like that. So these just hit everything in this wide open meta. They're just perfect. Ash is incredible right now with how much Branded is around. Like, Branded is 25% representation. If you're not running Ash in your deck, I don't know what you're doing. And Imperms just helps you get around. Like, it's a thrust target, too, because we are not main decking board breakers, because I don't like the brickiness of board breakers in this format. I think the hand traps are much better because you can draw into the Malphite Guardian Chimera, and then also just have for follow-up or crackback are obviously the going second potential. Because a lot of the time these are turn skips. So yeah, these are just perfect. Honestly, I love these cards. I wish I could run Effect Veilers. That's the other hand trap I'd like to run because it's a light spellcaster, so you can actually use it to go into Sanctifier, which would come up actually a lot. So if I had room for 3 more hand traps, it's definitely Effect Valor. The spells, 3 Brand Fusion, we love our ultis, it's the best card in the deck, 1 card combo, it's the best card in YuGiOh, single best card, we love it, this is why we play the deck, it should all, I don't know, I just love this card. So, someone said I shouldn't be just talking about how I love this card, but I can't help myself. 3 Branded opening, really standard, and then the rest of the branded spells and traps, Branded in red, Brand Lost, and Branded Retribution. Really standard. I still think Lost is incredible. Like, Lost just wins games because people don't know how to play around this card. What will happen is you'll just, like, the other day I went Branded Lost, and then he, like, it made a hero player use favorite contact on me to blow it up, and like usually they want to pop 4, and like there's a lot of decks that could happen against too, like other decks. It's like Brand Lost puts on so much pressure just for 1 card, because and you don't have to commit anything, you just have to go Branded Lost, and then they're like, I've got to do something about this or I lose. Which isn't true most of the time, I think, but like people don't know how to play it. It just steals games and searches your Mercurier, so that's why I think you also need it. And also the Bestial, so yeah, really good. There's no other like text really in terms of the branded cards. We aren't running branded sword here, y'all. 3 Duality. This card's just nuts. Like I cut it for a minute because I was like, it's not kashtira meta anymore, but kashtira is still the best deck besides Unchained and Purrely, so I think this Dragoon's a good card, and also this allows me to not main deck Dark Magician. It also allows me to get around Imperm on my Albion or Grand Wignall. which is pretty good, honestly, and it also allows you to recycle cards, which is really huge, light and darks, and then drawing one. It's just very, very, very good. So I would not be running any less of this, and that's why you run 3 Cartesia, 2 Quem, because then you basically have full combo if you draw those 2 cards, and if you have duality, it's just so good. I still recommend. They're great against any matchup. I a lot of the time do side out the dualities going second. I do admit, except for those matchups where it could go grindy. I'm like, yeah, I will want that. Wait. Yeah. So we are going to go into the spells. Fusion deployment. Fusion deployment is it's really good, honestly, guys. But that no shit. I was thinking about running Aqua Dolphin, honestly, but I don't know. It's whatever. And then 3 Nadir Servant. It's the 1 card combo. Um, so the 1 card combo will show just quickly after this deck profile is your way to get 1 card Gimmick Puppet Lock. So it's just a really good way if you to unbrick your hands, because a lot of times you can just draw kind of unplayable hands, but if you have exactly a Nadir Servant, you draw playable. Same with Thrust, which we'll get into, but Nadir Servant's just like one of the best cards in the deck, and you obviously side it out going second. I don't run an Entis, I just don't have the card. So I just lost my train of thought. Oh well. My headset just died for some reason. That's really funny. And then the 2 generics, we'll just go with obviously Gold Sark and Foolish, just so good in the deck. And I want to cut them even though I'm above 40. Like, I think they're just too good. 1 card extenders. And then getting to different things in the deck, and then Triple Tactics, Thrust, and Duplication. I put down to 2. It's really bricky at 3. I don't like Tactics either. Like, Tactics is great when it works, but like, I want this to either search Imperm going second or the branded fusion, or I want it for this going first. And because you have a lot of options going first or second, it really warrants running this, because this is usually always live. It just sucks when you draw 2 of them and then like cards that make it unplayable. But that's why you like Nadir Servant, and that's why I think this is the most consistent build, to be honest. So let's go into the extra deck now. The extra deck is pretty standard. That's not much has changed, except I did remove the Rinbrum, and we'll go over why. 2 Mirror Jade, best card in the extra deck. You go over Purrely Noir, you go over unaffected cards. It's the best card in the extra deck. It's really good right now because of Enchain too, so like you're usually going into this guy. 2 Albion, really standard. And then 1 Lubellion. I would like to run more, but you know how it is. Lubellion at 1 is just fine. There's a lot of cards I would like to run, but I can't. 1 Sanctifier, 1 Grignol, 2 Grignol. Yeah, these are your Gimmick Puppet cards. Also, your anti-evenly matched, and this is also an FTK against kashtira because it can't be targeted. It's pretty crazy. And then also your Despia monsters that you can special summon off of Gwignol's effect, Lulu, Lilith, and Querdus. You can also go into Querdus through, sending Querdus off in Nadir Servant, which is a part of the 1 card Gimmick Puppet lock, so it's very good. Also, it targets face-up card, which comes up sometimes in the 500. It's really good in grind games, so just really great cards. Querdus, I wouldn't cut either. I've been there where I want to cut it, but it's just too good. Like, it really does steal some games sometimes in a grind game. 1 Bucephalus to send the Brigand off of with Nadir Servant. So we'll get into that with the combo. And then the 3 generics, Scarring Chimera, Dragoon, and Stepelia. These 2 are really these 2 are just incredible. This is why you run Duality. You go into him off the Gwignol, and then you're able to just get around any hand trap, and it's your anti-Nibiru. And then Stepelia, I think, is really good because a lot of the time they can try to like Crow in like a branded and red or like in like an Albion situation when it's trying to fuse and then you don't have something fused, then you can usually just make a Stepelia from there. So that's nice for that reason. So you don't just like instantly lose to like a Crow or Bestial. And then also it's really good just against like Sprite or just other things. And it's really good in the grind game. I think it does more than Rinbrum. Rinbrum I was only ever sending off a like Nadir Servant on my like third turn like for grind purposes, and even then like I'm usually winning if I'm doing that. Usually, and that was never the determining factor in winning a game, so I thought Plant Stepelia would be a lot better. I'm still testing that. I might go back to Brynbrum or even going back to Titaniclad. Titaniclad did come up actually a few times, so I could see myself cutting this for Titaniclad because of the utility with Nadir Servant, and then also because it helps against like Purrely and then like Dinomorphia. So let's go into the side deck, and then we'll get into combo, and then final thoughts. I completely should have been recording this, but we'll just have to rip the stream VOD, y'all. 3 Nibiru. Really, you don't need to explain it. Nibiru is just nuts right now, but also a lot of decks are starting to play under it, but I think it's really good against Rescue Ace, frankly. I think it's really good against Unchained when they don't play under it. Same with Rescue Ace. I think it's good against Cash when they don't play under. It's good against Purrely going second. So I think it's fine. I think it's... And it's good against basically all rogue decks, so yeah. Really warrants a spot. Always goes into the deck. I try putting sideboard cards that fit into my deck, and also I will use a lot of the times. If you see me not on sideboard cards anymore, it's because I just wasn't siding them in and I wasn't finding them useful. So 3 troll. You want against every deck that searches a bunch, so it's basically makes non-games and all that good stuff. Really good against Brand Chimera, Manadium, and other just like Salad too, and other just rogue decks. So 3 Phantasme. This is a card that could very well get caught. It's one of those cards I haven't been able to side in very much actually because I don't have a lot of Unchained near me. However, this is for Unchained and also for like Salad and then also other Link decks. It really allows you to reshuffle your hands. You have hand traps, so you're able to get into hand traps, which really helps. I was thinking about running a Bestial package too because it's searchable off Magnamut, but like it's not really good probably, so that's why we're not in a Bestial package right now. I'm not really that afraid of Gimmick Puppet. I think I can usually play through it with certain things. So yeah, I think Phantasma is there for the Unchained matchup. It helps a lot in that matchup from what I've tested online. I just need to test more in person. It's something I could call. I was thinking about this, or I was thinking about Kaijus over this, but you know, I think this is probably better right now, but we'll see. And then we'll go into the thrust, or actually one Pankratops, because Pankratops is incredible. You can Sanctifier it and just loop it, and it's really good to just get around any problem card. I would never run it. It's just always like the best card whenever I draw it going second. It gets around anything problematic because it can banish, or tribute for cost, so it gets around, floodgates like Skill Drain and all that. So then there is the thrust package. 1 Harpies, 1 D barrier, 1 thrust, and then 2 Evenlies. So this is kind of I like the 3rd thrust. I was thinking about getting a called by honestly because I could side out the hand traps and then it wouldn't be as much of a brick, but this is fine. We had to. It was a tight fit on the extra deck. I'd like a 3rd Evenly. It's just incredible. It's a blowout against Rescue Ace. So, but the 3rd thrust is correct because it always goes in going first, and then the D barrier going first against any deck that just hand traps you, and then you can just thrust and then instantly turn skip them, which is really nice. And the Evenlies are obviously just insane. And Duster you need against Lab and basically any back row deck. Any deck with back row, it really does help. So, it's mainly Lab though. Like, let's be honest, guys. So yeah, that was the deck profile. It got a little long there. I guess we'll do the 1-card Gimmick Puppet combo because y'all love it. But then also, Sanchez, we're also I don't have my Chimera cards on me unfortunately right now. I only have the brand Despia stuff, so I'm gonna finish this up. But I do have a combo on the channel. I should have mentioned that before. we do have a combo on the channel, Hasenchez, so I will link that if you're still here, and I do have that combo on my channel. So yeah, we're gonna do a one card Nadir Servant combo, and what we do right now is we use Nadir Servant. Pretend this is the only card in your hand for some reason. Okay, Nadir Servant, activate, send Bucephalus to the graveyard. We're going to use Bucephalus and then we're going to search out, of course, the Maximus. If you have a Maximus already, you can just search the Quem and do extra stuff. It's fine. Like a lot of this combo, you will have most likely more cards than one, so you can do these things a lot easier. We will then use Bucephalus' effect on resolution to send from our extra deck a Brigand to the graveyard. So it gets us access to Albaz or Rimmer Courier if we already have the Albaz in hand. And then we special summon Dogmatic and Maximus by banishing the Bucephalus. And then we use Maximus' effect to send two more monsters from my extra deck to the graveyard. In this instance, we send Lulu and Albion. That's why I would like Titanic Cloud in here, so I can have more options than these just two. Since we no longer have Rindbrum, or like even a Garura. That's why Super Poly can be good with this build, but it's just a really type fit with the Garura and Mudragon. So we send those to the graveyard, and then during end phase, we use Albion effect to set a Brandon Red, and then we use Lulu Wall Lilith's effect to set or to special summon out a Cartesia to fuse on your opponent's turn, and then we will search out an Albaz and add that to our hand. And then we pass to our opponent. We obviously have to pass priority into main phase in this instance. If you're able to do anything before I recommend doing this before the main phase, before they can Dark Ruler no more. That is the one downside to this combo. If they just do something immediately to your Cartesia, it kind of sucks, or without being able to chain. So this is why, if you can, you try to do this in the draw step or in the standby phase. But okay, in this instance where we only had one card, we passed priority to main phase. They do something. Let's just say they activate Rhoda. We chain Cartesia. Cartesia fuse with Albaz into the graveyard to make a Grand Guignol, and we will use Grand Guignol's effect to send to the graveyard Gimmick Puppet from our deck, and which gives us the Gimmick Puppet access, and then immediately we are able to use Brand Red to chain, targeting the Albaz in order to fuse, and then we're able to use Maximus because it's a light spellcaster. They get removed from play. And then we're able to get Sanctifier. Fun fact, this board is not super polyable because this is not a fusion target. Yep. Yeah, yep, it very much is, Grum. Thank you very much. Everyone always asks me for this combo, so, like, they love it. Anyways, then we use Albion Effect to just target whatever, and then Gimmick Puppet. All that good stuff. I had to show off the signature for this deck, of course. So yeah, that is the deck profile. Please like and subscribe, and check out the streams on Monday. See you guys later. Also check out the Brandon Anthology or Masterclass that's going to come out sometime soon. Comment below what you guys want to see with that. Alright, see you guys later.